So this is the before, and what a mess. A storage dumping ground that's soon going to be a new clean room. And I'm going to show you how I do it step by step. Hello and welcome back to Studio 77 and the garage to room renovation. Bar the plumbing, me and my dad did everything, and I hope it inspires you to save a lot of money and create an amazing new room from your garage. Before I go into it, full disclaimer, we are not building professionals or electricians, although my dad has had a lot of experience, so you should definitely check the expertise of professionals before starting your own project. This garage is next to the house and had no electric points and one strip light. I wanted it fully insulated and workable as a craft room. We did all of it for around £1,000. So the first thing was to attach the battens to the brick walls. I've put a list of all the tools and materials we used in the description below in case it's of any use. We spaced them so that the boards would meet in the middle of the upright batten and added a batten at the bottom and middle of each section too. After the battens were in, we added loft insulation and nail gunned 6mm MDF board to each batten to secure it in place. We also pre-drilled any holes for the wiring of light switches and plug sockets as we went. When attaching the battens, we pre-drilled the wood all the way through using the correct drill bit to the screw. And then using a slightly larger drill bit, we drilled a third of the way through so that the screw would be countersunk into the wood. And here we are at the end of day 2, and we've got the first wall in and all the insulation, and we're ready to do the partition wall tomorrow. For the partition wall, we screwed a batten into the floor, being sure that it was level first, because no one wants a wonky wall. Then we added uprights screwed at an angle to both the floor batten and the rafters. MDF board was added at a slightly later time and was put on top just like we had done before. Later on, we boarded the garage side and filled with insulation, just like we did on the other walls as well. It's worth noting that for the walls that we put the battens up as we went, rather than all together at the beginning. This allowed for any discrepancies in our measuring. We also fitted the wiring and wall sockets as we went too. I'm not going to go into the wiring in detail as we are not qualified electricians and your system is probably different to mine. And so we continued in this manner of battens, insulation, MDF board all around the walls. I know you're watching the partition going up, but I just wanted to talk to you about the ceiling, as I didn't get a chance to film this bit. The ceiling was a lot trickier. We already had rafters, so we didn't need any battens on the actual ceiling. We filled between the rafters with insulation, just like we had on the walls, and held it in place with tape. Then we measured and cut the MDF boards to go around any pipes, etc., and we used acroprops to hold the boards in place for nailing. This was an absolute must, as those boards are heavy. Once all the walls and ceiling were up, we also added coving to cover any gaps, mitering the coving at the corners. We also added all the lights and wall sockets, which we had pre-drilled the holes for before. Before painting, we sanded and filled any gaps where the boards met, before giving everything a good few coats of paint. The flooring really wasn't as tricky as I thought it would be, as I hadn't laid vinyl before, so I was a little bit wary. First of all, we double-sided taped all around the edge and laid down the insulation. Then we laid down more double-sided tape ready for the actual vinyl. We cut the vinyl roughly with about 5 inches each side to spare before laying it down and sticking to the insulation. And then we finally cut it in neatly to slide under the MDF walls. So here's the final room. I can't wait to fully kit out this room and get making in it soon. I'm pleased that we left the double thickness of brick exposed as it adds a little character. We also added skirting board using the trusty nail gun to finish the room off. You may be wondering about heating. The small oil heater you can see heats the room up in about 10 minutes, and I really didn't want to lose any wall space to a radiator, so this works just great for me. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell to get notifications for my weekly tutorials and tips.